What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Film Addiction. Today we're going to be doing the Q&A answers. As 2 weeks ago, I had a little video drop for the Q&A announcement. We had 120 something subscribers at the time. We're almost at 150 now, so thank you very much for everyone who has subscribed and who has watched the videos. But today I'll be answering the questions that some of you dropped. We got some really good questions, some impossible questions, but we are going to try our best to answer them. So let's go ahead and kick it off, I guess. And we can always do this again. Always ask any questions you want. I'll open book. I'll answer anything. And this chair does not stop squeaking, I swear. Get some WD-40 and some duct tape on that bad boy. How about that? All right, so first off, we got Lone the Hero. My brother asked, I've never seen this question get asked, but I'm always curious, what's your least favorite horror movie? And you can't say Skinamarink. So I can't say Skinamarink because we watched that together when he was over here last, me, him, and my wife, and I absolutely hated it. So that would be my one, but I can't say that one. So I've seen a lot of bad horror movies. I can't even say Skinamarink's the worst one, honestly, because I've had some movies that I just could not get through. So the answer is definitely, but I went through the collection and I decided to pick out a couple that, which one I forgot to bring down, but is The Turning. We saw that in theaters, thought it was extremely boring, and I kind of wanted to leave the theater. I did not care for it. It's like your basic haunted house mansion movie. I did not care for it. Another one, I went through a little Candyman thing, and unfortunately this is the one that's with the Vestron video. Awesome artwork. I love Candyman, but I tried to, I watched the first one and then I watched the second one, and then I was like in a marathon thing, so I want to watch the third one, and I could not get through the third one. I thought the acting was absolutely horrible, and maybe I can rewatch this, a couple years down the road and maybe I'll enjoy it. But I did not care for Candyman Day of the Dead. Awesome artwork though. I did not care for that movie. And another answer just to bug him, since he asked this question, would be the new Chucky. I didn't care for the new Chucky. Is it horrible? No, it's not, but I did not care for the new Chucky. Just, something about me. Next up is Caveman from Caveman Movies and More. If you have not subscribed to him, go subscribe to him. Awesome content, great person, great content. He asked a couple questions. First off, besides horror, what is your go-to genre? Because I do watch a lot of horror. That's probably my favorite. If I were to go into the next one, it'd probably be action. Whether that be John Wick, Die Hard, the Lethal Weapons. I love action. Transformers. I love all that stuff. Explosions, over the top, just craziness like John Wick, Sisu, that just came out recently. Sisu. Love action, and then after that it'd be comedy, most likely. Next question Caveman asked is, what TV shows do you like, and or type of TV shows you and your family gravitate towards? So me personally, I guess you would say drama, because one of my all-time favorite shows is a Netflix show. Well, it kind of went back and forth, but I think it ended on Netflix, was Longmire. It's kind of like each episode's got its own little story, investigation, but it's kind of like country, kind of Yellowstone, I guess you could say. Speaking of which, Yellowstone is also one of my all-time favorite TV shows. Sons of Anarchy. We all watched those all together. Game of Thrones, I thought Game of Thrones was great. I look forward to every episode that came out of that show. So that's drama and fantasy, right? And currently we are watching Black Mirror. We just started that show up. Absolutely love that show. Every episode, it's no story obviously because every episode's completely different, but very interesting. I think it's pretty good so far. And then, of course, we love watching Psych and Friends. And I grew up watching Everybody Loves Raymond. So there's a wide variety of stuff that I'll watch. Miranda's Movies Madness. Of course, go check out her channel. She has awesome content, great opinions on movies, just great videos. Her first question is, what is your collection count as of now? So I'm redoing my list because I guess we got kind of lazy and started putting stuff away, and I did not put them in the system in a list. So I'm having to go through and write down everything else, or type everything else, and make a whole brand new list, which is a process. But I'm around 1,800 physically in a case. I also have books. I made a mistake a long time ago when we lived in our old house. Didn't have a whole lot of room, so I got in this weird mode and started throwing all the cases away. I know, shoot me. And started putting them in books. So I've got hundreds and hundreds, if not, I don't know how many holds in that book. I've got 2-3 books. Maybe there's 1,000 in there, but I'll probably rebought half those. But currently I'm at about 1,800, and then I don't count the digital. So what's your most prized possession in your collection? So that's a hard question. Me personally, even though it's not one item, it's my Clerks, my Kevin Smith collection. I get extremely excited every time I get a new Kevin Smith movie. I'm trying to get all of his movies in every edition that I possibly can, which I don't go too crazy on it because it gets kind of expensive. Next, I would go with, let me pull this down. This Evil Dead collection right here. This thing is awesome. It says groovy. It has all the movies. It has the first 2 movies, Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, and Ash versus Evil Dead complete collection TV show. Love this thing. I think it's awesome. One of my all-time favorite series. I was upset that Army of Darkness was not in here. I didn't realize that when I bought it. I would have bought it either way, but excuse me. But this thing is just sick. I love this thing. I don't even think I've opened what's in here, the movies. I just watched the other copies that I have. But that would be, if you wanted to go by one possession, that'd probably be thing right there. Love it. And I love the new Evil Dead. Thought it was great. It's not as good as the 2013, but that's just my opinion. Next, she asked favorite comedy. So my favorite comedy, if I had to choose one, would probably be Friday. Absolutely love Friday. Quote it. Just absolutely love it. And then obviously, like I said, anything in the Clerk universe, Kevin Smith, and then Super Troopers is my top 3. But Friday, if I had to pick one comedy. And then what got you into collecting? So this is an awesome question. Obviously, the reason I collect and watch movies is like a gateway for me personally. From reality, you just escape into a new world. I like watching, that's why I like watching new stuff. I'd rather watch a new movie most of the time instead of rewatching stuff, even though I collect. But I like just a new story being told and getting lost into that world. But I used to go over to my uncle's when I was younger. He was a movie collector, so every time I'd go over to his house, you know, he had the big TVs with the big backs, with the big entertainment center, and it was surrounded with movies, and that was kind of his thing. Every time we went over there, that's what we did. We watched movies. He was always like, I got this new one, I got this new one. That's kind of what got me into it, a big deal. And then my grandpa at the time lived next to us for a couple years, and I would go over there, and he was like my personal Blockbuster. I would go over there, and he would let me borrow 1 or 2 VHS tapes and take them back and watch them, and then I had to rewind them, be kind of rewind, and then bring them back, and then he'd give me 1 or 2 more. So my whole childhood has been revolved around movies. I've always loved movies, and I'll do it until the day I die. I love them. So great questions. On to what is Johnny watching? Fantastic guy. Great YouTuber. Great content. The guy's hilarious. Real down to earth. Go check him out. What's Johnny watching? First question is, what is the one blind buy that you immediately regret purchasing? And I'm gonna give you two answers because you already know the first answer, because you slung it across the room, and that is Killer Goats. Yeah, only because I know this one gets brought up. Everybody's tired of hearing this name of movie, I'm sure by now. But although I love the Steelbook, I did pay, like I said on the live stream, $40 for this thing. And this was obviously $5 bin quality, but the Steelbook is really nice. They put a lot of work into it. So I regret buying that. But I wouldn't say I regret purchasing, but I do regret pre-ordering, was the Lover's Lane. Because this is one of my first like real pre-orders. And I pre-ordered this thing, got excited, came home, watched it, and it was just not as good as I thought it was going to be. Is it horrible? No, but it's not as good. But I didn't want to give you just Killer Goats because you already knew that answer. Because, you know, that's your all-time favorite movie. Still one of the best scenes on YouTube is you slinging that thing. Second question is, what is your white whale? Which, by the way, I've never heard that phrase before, white whale. The one, and luckily he explained it, the one movie you can never find out in the wild when you go on a Blu-ray hunt that you are dying to have in your collection. And that is, back to Kevin Smith, is a movie called Red State. It is on DVD, and you cannot find that thing anywhere, or at least I can't. But it is on Amazon or eBay for like $50 for the DVD. So that'd be my white whale. If I had to choose a second one, because I like to give more than one answer, would be Dogma on Blu-ray. I have it on DVD. I think I found more than one copy of Dogma on DVD, but finding the Blu-ray would be awesome, especially out in the wild. So great questions. Thank you, Johnny. Next up is Emily, aka Miss Film Addiction, my wife, my better half, as you could say. She asked, has there ever been a time you felt the sequel was better than the original movie? And Temple of Doom, I personally think is way better than the first one. Way better. It's better than the first one in my opinion. Of course, Terminator 2, my opinion is the second one's better than the first. Bad Boys 2, I think is better than the first. And I'm sure there's a lot more, but there's 3 good answers. And she also asked, what movie made you addicted to film? And that is kind of an impossible question, but not the actual same uncle that was huge in the movies, but a big movie that kind of got me into watching movies was The Lost Boys. My uncle loved this movie, showed it to me, and I fell in love with it. And it was like several years down the road, I remembered us watching it. Can't remember the name of it. I had to call him, and then he knew exactly immediately what I was talking about, and asked The Lost Boys. And so that's one of them. And one that got me into horror, believe it or not, this movie scared the shit out of me when I was younger, is Jeepers Creepers. My dad had a friend come over, and they were all hanging out, and he's like, I got this new movie. Y'all should check it out. It's pretty good horror. And it was late, but my dad was like, you can stay up if you want to watch it. And I was young, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch it. And it scared the shit out of me. Jeepers Creepers. So, yeah. Thanks, babe, for the questions. On to Adam, the movie hunter. And he comes in with one question. And is the most impossible question in the world, so thanks a lot, Adam, because I'm not gonna be able to give you the best answer. But he says, so what movie are you taking with you on a desert island? Just you and your movie. Of course, some know you have power and TV, just no boats. So that's an impossible question. I have no idea. I've been pondering this. This one takes 2 weeks to put this up. I don't know. But the question is, do I take Castaway so that I can plan my escape from the desert island? But if not, I don't want to take my favorite movie, The Crow, because I feel like that would get old. It's just me and TV and power, no boats and anything else. I feel like that would get old if I just watched my favorite movie over and over and over. That, The Crow, and The Boondock Saints. So I went with Friday because I feel like that movie doesn't get old and I laugh every time I watch it. So I'm gonna go with Friday. That'd be the movie that I would take with me to an island. Unless it makes more sense to take Castaway so I can escape. You know, but yeah. Thank you everyone for the questions. This was actually a lot of fun. And great questions, awesome questions. If there's anything else you want to know about me, leave them in the comments down below. And I'll answer them. I'm an open book. Yeah, thanks for watching, and thank you everyone for subscribing, watching the videos. If there's anything you want to see, let me know. And yeah, see you guys on the flip side. Bye.